We are alive, dear bear family. At least we hope we are. We are back in the bear cave. As I'm sure you can tell, that feels humbling and extremely rich. I spent the morning getting my hands dirty in the greenhouse and gardening, and now we're going to dive into the Bitcoin charts. Now, we actually meant to do this show about 2 days ago, yet the title stays the same. Bitcoin price move is imminent. Now, I'm sure many of you are wondering in which direction, and although I don't like to predict the future, I still stand by the sentiments that I said over 2.5 months ago now, which is that Bitcoin is likely going to go somewhere towards the $1,000 range. I have stayed strong in that assertion as we brought Tyler Jenks on and even further affirmed that. How long we stay there, well, that's anyone's guess, but let's dive into the charts and take a look. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. We're currently looking at the Bitcoin chart here on the 1 hour time frame. Again, here you can see that we've dropped down. Well, it depends how you want to look at this Fibonacci. I'm actually currently charting a retracement here, so we're on the downtrend and hitting the 618. This is a very, very strong and important level of resistance. And then again, the last and most important layer here down where the 236 or this current direction, the 786, would bring us to around $3,300. Now, we had a bunch of confirmations yesterday that this did not look very good. We had a rising RSI with a falling price indicator, which is actually often can be quite bullish. It's called a bullish divergence here. We had a price falling and actually somewhat stable, followed by the rising RSI. Now, back here, while I was traveling, that $4,000 mark, as you can see, we tried to break out into past the RSI indicator of around 60 multiple times. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times here, and on the 7th time it dropped like a rock. And then again yesterday, you had the breakout trying to make it past the 50 line on the RSI indicator, again hitting it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times before falling back down. I do suspect we will hit this RSI indicator 1 or 2 more times here before falling back down, moving us down to the $3,360 range. Now after that, we're going to have to say that that was likely the B wave. Now that's not intrinsically the case, and I do hope to some degree, and this is mostly a hope, that we go to around $5,000 so that anyone who had not exited any positions in a profit can do just that. That is my hope, although it seems less and less likely as we have moved into more bearish and bearish terms as we have gone on over the last 2 months. Now again, this is an important thing to do, is watch the charts daily. So we will be back live either every morning or every evening to do just that with you guys. So I'm just going to take a quick look here because it's been a while since I've done a live show. I want to make sure that everything is going smoothly. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying this content, smash that thumbs up, like button, smash likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well, and join the Telegram channel in the links below. That will help you guys communicate together a little more effectively, as there is a wide range of very intelligent people in the Arcane Bear Telegram group, and we will be building from there. And we're also going to turn on our newsletter, again, finally, for those of you that have been asking for our notes, because we do take those, as well as we brought on a few people that are going to help write about sentiments in the market in general. So it's really interesting to see. I am going to have to disagree with any of the bull market rhetoric, simply because those who say anything about a bull market now don't understand market terminology. And that's all right. We're all learning and growing together, but I would definitely suggest one recognize that this is a bear market, and there is no subtle small move that is going to turn us into a bull market. Now, you might see, again, a small B-wave retracement to the $5,000 area, and I do hope that that is the case for those, again, who did not exit, but it is nothing but a hope at this point, and it is a dimming hope at that. Now, if you actually go back here, I think it was on the daily, I had drawn this chart with you guys the last time we were online. Oh, I removed the ABC retracements here. Essentially, we're in an Elliott corrective wave right now from the last drop here around 6,000. Now, I had originally hoped that Bitcoin's B movement could go anywhere near as high as $5,400 to $5,900, but this current market trend that we see here is very, very bearish. The fact that we've hit the 55-day moving average almost twice here is not a very good sign. Now, may we hit it again? That's very possible, but I do suspect that the C wave is going to bring us somewhere down to around the $2,500. Now, Bitcoin is also extremely complex, so if I were to draw this again, I would actually suspect that the B wave would go like this, C wave down to 24, 25, you'd have one last final exit point around 3,300 before a very quick, sharp B wave retracement to around the anywhere between $900 to $1,600 is my bottom wave retracement. Now, I do suspect that this will be a very sharp B wave type bottom, and I said V wave, I hope everyone heard that correctly. This is a very sharp V wave before we find consolidation around the $3,000 to $5,000 mark. So I have a lot of buy orders set in between the $800 and the $1,600 range because I want to be able to capture any of that scared momentum. This to me is going to signal capitulation. The first break below the 200-day moving average is going to scare a lot of the other old school investors that have still decided to stick around in this space. So I do suspect that this is what the market move will be. I've had this same assertion since the beginning of November when we were a little tipsy one night and decided to tell everyone we thought Bitcoin was going to $1,000 the first time, right when we broke the mark around $5,500. So it would have been right around here. This first drop in the gap to me was very, very dangerous. It signaled a longer term bear market than anyone would like. And I myself love Bitcoin. I love the concept. I love the philosophy, the truth of the nature of wealth by empowering others. To me, that is huge. So I'm not just in this game to make money. I was interested in philosophically investing in this space. Now, a lot of you are going to start to say things like, oh, there's hard forks for this or for that. It does not change a damn thing. In a bear market, news will do no one no good, and that is something one must keep in mind. Until the sentiments have consolidated, news does not make any difference. It is a lagging indicator, and at best as a lagging indicator, it's not one I would follow with any sort of assertion. So, I'm going to take a few of your guys' questions. Again, I'm still standing by this same wave movement that we had looked at before. Again, I had hoped, and I still do have some hope, that the B wave here might bring you guys back up to 5,300. That would mean anyone that wanted to exit could. But again, my original assertion was the bounce to 4,200 and then a drop down to 25. So we'll have to keep a close eye on it, and we will be doing just that with you guys every day of every week that we possibly can, followed by our impact marketing vlogs. So again, shout out to energy.world. They were this month's sponsor, and they're going to stay on board with us, so thank you to them. We will have them on for a live podcast here in the next week now that I'm back. We're also chatting with CoinGecko. Now the papers have yet to be signed, but they look like they're going to join us for our next ventures as well with energy to go to the animal and wildlife conservation efforts. Again, just really rounding out the purpose of everything I'm doing at the Arcane Bear here is to help empower other individuals. So this is not investment advice. This is strictly for information and the communication of value purposes only as I go through my own learning process. Again, I am very, very excited for the future of Bitcoin, but in the very near short-term future, I am remaining bearish. Anyone with the term bull market in their sentiments right now is not paying attention and is just looking for clickbait. Now, the price move, again, from my mind, is down. And well, that's the fun thing. So let's dive into the Ask Me Anything portion. This is where we'll go over the coins that some of you guys are interested in, any thoughts you might have, and I will share my opinion with you from there. So let's take a look. Here we go. Connor Gerard says he has no idea what he's saying, and I've got it all right. Thanks, Connor. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying. We are on the verge of an epic bull run is what he figures. No, I agree, but not today. Further down the line. There's a very, very real reason for that too. And Connor, it seems like you don't have a whole lot of experience in the markets as a whole. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 and I'll explain exactly why I think you are incorrect and the likely follow through. Now, we've hit the top of the B wave exactly where we thought we would for the S&P 500. Now, It's not going to go higher than that. And if it does, and they start printing money, well, that's actually going to be a better signal for gold. But I don't suspect that that is the case either. That's not what they did last time. Now, they are not necessarily interested in crashing the dollar right now. The stock markets don't need to stay up. They will crash just long enough to keep the dollar afloat as everyone runs into the US dollar. And I agree with Tyler Jenks on this particular sentiment. Actually, we agree fairly often, it seems like, on some of the larger market outlooks, although we disagree on the importance of decentralization and the nature and the multitude of other options that one must have. Simply because I love Ray-Bans doesn't mean there's not room for Von Zipper. Anyways, that's besides the point. The S&P 500 as well as NASDAQ and the rest of the global market sentiments are in a very bearish trend, and that does not in any way, shape, or form bode well for Bitcoin. If you understand what this space is meant for, it's not replacing the stock market, it's helping to replace the failing fiat US dollar system. But if the stock market starts to crash in the misunderstanding of misallocated funds and debt, well then you have a positive sentiment for the fiat dollar because people will run from these failing ideas into the dollar. They will not run to a speculative asset like Bitcoin. Oh no, they will not. And if you think they will, well, that's a bet that you were willing to make that I am not, because it does not make any sense whatsoever, and it doesn't follow any of the market history and our past. So we are at a very, very important critical time right now for the S&P 500. If we enter a global market downturn, it is going to be bad for everyone. And I mean everyone. It will not bode well for Bitcoin, and it is likely the driving force that brings Bitcoin down to these lower prices, is that any speculative asset that can have movement in it at this time will not be looked at as a smart investment. Stable coins might actually be taken as a smarter idea during the market capitulation. And in fact, that's the truth. There are very few things that you can hold that stay, unless you're looking at it, well, I always have one Bitcoin. Well, great, you always have one Bitcoin. I'm looking at the possibility to acquire more and or achieve more by paying attention. Again, you can choose whatever you would like to do, but paying attention and listening to me has become one of my greatest assets, and I will not relinquish that simply for someone's bull market. You haven't done the math, and it doesn't seem as you're paying attention to the global markets as a whole. Now that we've hit the stop of the B wave for the S&P 500, I do believe this is going to signal more negative news for Bitcoin. Now, I could be wrong. Again, that's why none of this is investment advice. I do hope you listen to and research as many of these topics as ideas as you possibly can, because from there you can come to your own best critical thought. That's all we can do, and that's actually what we hope that everyone learns to do best. It's what I like to do. I read from as many sources as possible, and I come to my own conclusion. Have I always been right? No. Have we been correct? Often. Yes. Does it make a difference for anyone else? Well, I don't know. I hope it at least allows you guys to inquire further into your own thought processes. And that's it. I don't want anyone making investments off the things that I do, because it doesn't make any sense. The purpose of this channel is to help people learn how to think critically, not just follow a leader. It is a great quote that says, a good leader doesn't create more followers, they create more good leaders. So again, let's dive back into some more of your thoughts and questions here. Let's go straight down to the bottom. Okay, let's see here. Will BACT possibly influence the market to turn bullish sooner, what the charts are showing us? No, any of that would be priced into the markets. There's a great saying and a quote I'm sure many of you heard. It says, buy the rumor, sell the news. Now, the rumor for BACT came in a long time ago, and the news coming out won't make a difference. It will likely bring the markets down if it hasn't pushed them up already. The fact that these guys are entering with hundreds of millions of dollars is child's money. It's not about the entrance of money into a system, it's about the perception of value. That's what is so hard to comprehend about understanding why news is a lagging indicator. That's a hugely important factor to understand, and it takes a very, very deep meditation process to understand that value is perception. If I can sell you a pair of shoes for $100,000, yet that same pair of shoes only costs $30 to make, I have two choices. I can sell it to you for $100,000 because that's what you're willing to pay. That's the perception of value. Payless did a fantastic science or social experiment around how this works. They opened up a company called Palessi. just a remake of their name, Payless, and they threw astronomically higher prices on their same brands of shoes with a little bit nicer of a box that cost the same price. They were then, through social manipulation, able to get a bunch of social influencers in the fashion world to pay these ridiculously exorbitant prices for this product. Now, that in no way changed the underlying fundamental value of what those shoes cost to be made, but what it did change was the perception. And that in itself, friends, is not moved by money into the market. That's moved by a larger, greater perceptual value. And we are not there yet. I wish to God that we were, because that would be great, and we'd all be excited and partying on our $100,000 Bitcoin parties. And I do believe we will get there, but in a bear market, the news of backed will make no difference. That money entering into the system will make no difference. And if they do have smart traders there, they will be waiting for this same V-shaped bottom around $1,500 to $2,500 as well. So no, I don't think backed will make any difference. Not sooner, not later either. ETH is up 80% this year. God dang. So stupid. It's up 80%, but yes, it's down from $1,500. That's not the same. You should probably study, you should probably think about the math behind that. Oh my God. We're just going to put this user at a timeout. You obviously don't know what you're saying and you're interrupting the rest of the class. Great, there we go. Can you look at the ETH-TA? Okay, sure. Let's make that one of the last questions, and then we'll go from there. Quietly dollar cost averaging in octavians. Okay, well let's take a look. Let's take a look at the ETH charts, and then I'm also going to move on the idea that. Yeah, we'll just look at Ethereum as the last question here. We'll keep the show short today. Again, if you guys are new here, please smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. That way, anytime we go live, you guys will be notified. We're going to do this every day now that I'm back in the bear cave, which is super exciting for me. So let's decide either we're going to do it in the morning or the evening. I'll take your guys' suggestions on who thinks they can make the most shows, whether it's in the evening or in the morning. We'll try both out and see which comes back the best. Secondarily, again, I'm also going to be doing the impact media as well as just kind of the daily vlogs to bring you guys up to speed with what it is we're working on in the background, so that we can hopefully help to inspire as much of the entrepreneurial spirit in every one of you as I have done myself and me, because it is deeply rewarding and extremely enjoyable. Oh, just before I jump into the charts, Enigma says, how many times have you done ayahuasca or DMT? Now, I won't go into the number of times, but I actually grow ayahuasca right out there. You can kind of see it, probably not all that well on the screen, but it's about this thick now. So I've had ayahuasca here planted for around 4 years. I also grow Mimosa hostilis, which is the highest containing DMT plant on the planet, aside from the grass in Hawaii. But Mimosa actually has a built-in MAO inhibitor, making it able to be digested without anything else. Very, very special plant. Anyways, let's dive into the Ethereum chart now, and we'll take a look at that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, everyone wants me to one person wanted me to take a look at Ethereum, so I will do just that. So on the Ethereum chart here, again, we've been following this wedge down. We exited around this area here after the second bounce between 700 and 400. This was a very, not scary, but this was a noticeable term of capitulation for us. So we exited, especially with this very, very sharp pattern heading down this way. Now, then we started to go sideways right along one of the main areas of support around the $170 area. The fact that we broke down here and couldn't break out past the 180 area is very, very bearish in my thinking. You also are hitting the 100-day exponential moving average. Now, could we come up and touch that again? Yes, likely around the $150 area, but the signaling that we can't break out of that $150 area, this will likely be a quick ABCDE wave, something like this here. Again, not investment advice. This is just what I would see. This B wave was very nice, right up to the 100-day exponential moving average. I likely think we'll see a very short. Actually, the C wave is probably deeper than that. Here, the C wave will probably come down even deeper. I would actually hold on. Let me start this over right from the get-go. I would suspect that you would see a quick bounce up to the $140 range, but I don't think that's going to be the C wave. That's why I needed to restart this drawing pattern. I think this is going to be your A, this will be your B, this will be your C, Your D wave will probably come up back to $120 again. And I've suspected for a long time that Ethereum could easily come down to the 20 or 10 or $20 range. Now, why is that? Well, this is the last major vestige of support, somewhere between 50 and then all the way down to 25. Now, the fact that we touched around, what was it? $80 before definitely makes me think this second layer of support. We'll see here you have the first layer of support, which was at $80. Boom, brilliant. The second layer of support here is around $40. Boom, brilliant. Now, negative sentiments could bring Ethereum all the way down to $20, but these bounces, as someone pointed out, are actually quite large. They're extremely enjoyable bounces to take part of. Even though Ethereum went from 80 to 160, look how far it's down from. Right? So it's barely made any movement in terms of real-time assessment on a full, but these small bounces are 100% moves. That's fantastic, which means for those of you that are interested in playing in the waves as the waves start to crash, there's a lot of value to be taken off the table here. And I don't, again, none of this is investment advice, but anywhere from C, from 70 back up to 140, that's another 100% movement if you go from C to D on the waves again. And then from E, the potential, who knows how high we go. I do suspect that Ethereum is going to have some problems recovering. I think Bitcoin is going to leave everything in its dust when it moves again. Although I do suspect that once Bitcoin finds a stable resting place, the rest of the market will start to absolutely explode the same way it did last year. We had counter pivots between Bitcoin's price as well as the altcoin space. Now, the other factor here that doesn't look too positive for Ethereum is it now multiple times has tried to break out past the 60 point on the RSI, which it was not able to do, and then started to fall. So on the daily, we are not oversold at all. In fact, we're just hitting one of the key points of resistance here, right around the 40 mark. This is actually it's kind of the sweet spots for the RSI indicator. Now, if we bounce here maybe once or twice, we're going to become oversold on the daily RSI, which is where I believe the B wave somewhere between $50 to $60 will come in. Anyways, this is Teal with the Arcane Bear. Smash that like button. Thank you for joining us for the live shows. We're going to be producing content all the time now that we are back in the beautiful Bear Cave. I am so grateful for all of your support. It means the world to me. It's been a very rough week. I want to give reverence to my dearest grandmother who passed away this week. It's pained me deeply, but I know that she's dancing and journeying onto another space, so I just wanted to share all that with you as well, that life is precious and valuable. Remember that anyone that you know that you love, please tell them you love them as often as you can, because you never know when you won't get a chance. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. I'm going to sign off for the rest of the day, ladies and gentlemen, but we will see you tomorrow morning. Same bear time, same bear channel.